This game recently. Let's take a look at it quickly. So I'm playing white in this, and I start off by playing the English. My opponent responds with the symmetrical variation, and I'm trying something new. I want to go a little bit more aggressive here. So I don't know the English opening. I try to simply play off the way I believe that the game is meant to be played, not necessarily the opening line. So here, I intentionally play e4 to attempt to set up a blind here. I want to be able to dominate this d5 square here and potentially fight here later on, launching that f pawn up to be able to try to control this e5 square and then this g5 square, and maybe come into f5 later, right? As we'll see later on in the game. So I play that e5. He plays fianchettoing the bishop g7 move. I play knight f3, and my goal is to immediately try to launch this d pawn up before he sets up his own blind by bringing the knight out and then having the bishop, the pawn, and the knight try to stop me from coming to d4. He plays e6, and we had talked about this during the game that I didn't know if it was the best move, because this e6 creates a weakness here on d6 and on f6. So for the rest of the game, I'm going to be trying to exploit these. But now look, his bishop is also over here on g7, creating a weakness right here on d6 that's even bigger. It's a massive hole there. Immediately, I shoot that d4 square, taking it before he can set that blind. He captures, I capture. He plays the a6 move similar to like in a can. And I think now we're like transposing back and forth between an English and a Sicilian. The only thing is that e6 is up and making it really odd for him. So I play the bishop e2, sorry. And the reason for it is it's more of a waiting move. I'm not 100% sure where I need to put that dark squared bishop, if I'm going to end up putting it on g5 to potentially pin a knight, or if I'm going to drop it here on e6, e3, so that I can drop the queen back behind it, build that battery, and then come down and attack that h6 square. I don't know yet. So try to hold off for it and play bishop e2. He plays queen c7, similar to, I think, trying to play Sicilian lines here, where we're looking at, I think it's the can and the toponin or something like that, where it's either the knight c6 Sicilian or it's that a6 Sicilian that follows e6. The problem is, and again, we talked about this during the game, the problem is that with this e6 up, it creates that hole. So a lot of things don't work. Castle. He plays knight c6. I play bishop e3. He plays the knight out to f6. I think after, he sees I commit that bishop there, so he decides to play the knight, right? Yeah. Then from here, I play queen up, building that battery, making the battery so that the bishop and the queen can work together to come down and potentially try to assassinate this bishop the moment he castles, creating dark square or imbalance. And maybe from there I can try to run the pawns, reposition, remobilize the knights to come over and help out. But he plays an interesting move, that h5. I don't understand why. I get it here in this moment. I'm like, he's not going to castle kingside. He's going to intentionally leave his king in the center of the board and use this e6 pawn as a blockade. But in doing so, I have control over this b5 square, so he can't get a pawn break here. I have a blind built on this d5 square, so he can't get a pawn break there. So he's going to have to play really passive, like in a hedgehog formation, and try to play a simple B6, moving it up one, or a D6, moving it up one. So when I look at this, I see, hey, it's going to take him at least 3 moves to castle. Can I get to him before that? I launch the pawn. He brings the knight in. I'm happy to exchange, because when I'm looking at this, that my light squared bishop isn't helping me here. His knight is causing me more problems because of the fact that his knight is contesting my knight. So I would happily get rid of his knight so that my knight doesn't have to face off with it, right? My knight's covering these squares, and in turn, his knight is covering these squares. So I'm trying to get rid of that knight so that we don't have to battle over the same squares anymore. He brings knight down. I happily exchange. I push pawn, and the reason I push pawn, even though it says there's a mistake here, my thinking is I want to push this. I want to push that F4 square, break that open, catch that king in the center of the board, and start the firefight. I don't want to get checkmated, because if we notice, take it back one move, and we'll see that the queen and the rook are both lining up for a checkmate over here, or at least a check, right? I don't need the queen down here in my turf. So I push, he pushes. I push that pawn forward. It says, hey, bring all the pieces into the fight. They'll just fight like that. He brings bishop up. I bring knight over. I'm trying to catch him before he castles. He brings queen back. I check. King comes up. I push the pawn. Now, in actuality, this is where he resigns, but we played it a little bit more to look at it in depth, or attempt to. And what we looked at was he would play that, and of course, I would play the sacrifice here. And I'm looking for a checkmate, right? I'm looking for the mate. So if my rook can get here, I can try to finish him. But even if my rook can't get there, then what happens is that if he captures back, I can play the bishop down. Now, I'm going to end up winning the queen, at least. And if he makes the decision to come up, then I should get the checkmate. So if he pops out, yeah, I thought it was a checkmate during the game. I guess not. I was thinking queen up, but I guess not. It is what it is, though. I guess I still get the queen, so whatever. But that's what I was looking at. That was the game that we played. And in the game specifically, it was really positional for me, not tactical, just position. Trying to utilize the blind, trying to utilize the dark squares, trying to be patient about where to put my pieces. Willing to trade off my bad pieces for his good pieces. Trying to catch his king in the center, then we get into the tactical, trying to sacrifice to catch him in the center. But hey, it was a fun game. Computer says there's a few lines that both of us should have done. I'll look at that in more detail. Look forward to the next.